I've got Times Square all to myself. For my forensic take this week on current events, February 10th, 2020, I want to talk about our expectation of privacy and what that means for the public internet. I mean, is it really the same as being in Times Square, where you're walking around with relative anonymity and you've got your street photographers? They can snap a photo of you. You're in a public arena with no expectation of privacy. Does that actually mean the same thing for the internet? Testing, testing. The quote-unquote public internet, where you might have public-facing profile pictures on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, Google, and the like. You know, especially on LinkedIn, where for business purposes you have a profile picture and it's attached to your real name. There's a company called Clearview AI that is mining the internet for your profile pictures. They've got billions of photos stored in a data warehouse. And what they're doing with this information is providing a mobile app to law enforcement that allows them to take a photo of anybody and essentially search the internet by face. So it's using that facial recognition technology. All of those photos that they've amassed into this data warehouse has been mapped for those facial recognition data points. And this app for law enforcement has gone viral because when you snap a picture, it instantly maps that new photo that you're submitting to the database and looks for matches. And so what they're essentially able to do is get your identity in a matter of seconds through this photo technology, this facial recognition technology. And it's helped law enforcement solve a good number of crimes. It's gone viral in the law enforcement community because even though law enforcement has a database of mugshots and state driver's licenses that they can access, what about first-time perpetrators? What about folks who are committing crimes that aren't in that database? Well, this is where the quote-unquote public internet comes into play. And data privacy advocates are up in arms. Google and Facebook and Twitter, in fact, have issued cease and desist orders to Clearview AI, telling them that while their activity with this new application isn't necessarily illegal, it does violate the terms and conditions of usage. So it's not really public information, even though we construe it as the public internet. These are private properties owned by industry giants. And much like you can't snap a photo of a person on private property, you have to ask for their permission, you have to get it in writing. That's what Google and Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, etc., are arguing is necessary, because Clearview AI is saying that if Google can scrape the internet, scrape websites, and consolidate all of that information into an indexed, searchable database, why can't they? There's inevitably a legal battle to be had here, and we're going to see what happens because our data privacy hangs in the balance. This technology runs the risk of being misused, obviously. Think about stalkers and child predators who can use this information in the wrong way and essentially find out the identity of their prey, right? And stalk them over time. And who knows what can eventually happen in the long run. I tend to fall on the side of law enforcement, especially when it comes to the protection of children. But it's a fine balance against what we should expect in terms of our personal information, our data privacy. And we could run the risk of becoming a surveillance state with this type of technology. Much like the coronavirus outbreak, there was a doctor in China who had blown the whistle on this new virus and was shut down by Chinese authorities. He had made his claims on WeChat, and the Chinese authorities are obviously monitoring WeChat because they saw his messages to friends and family and the local community and said, stop spreading lies. But it turns out he was absolutely correct. And if they did listen to him, they could have stopped the spread of that disease much earlier, or at least mitigated the scale of what it's at now. So again, we have to be mindful, know that your public-facing information is being mined and potentially used without your consent. And even if Clearview AI is ultimately shut down, this is a technology that is alive and well. There are bound to be copycat technology companies that use facial recognition in a way that can identify you within seconds. And that's just, the current state of what we can contemplate with this technology. And, what can you do but protect yourself? Because in a way, we're giving up our privacy in order to have more fun, more convenience, and ironically, more security. But how is that ultimately undermined without our knowledge and without us paying the appropriate amount of attention? So folks, technology has its benefits and obviously its drawbacks. Talk to you next week.